In this video, I want to tell you about why I do what I do. I'm an emotional well-being coach for women, and I've been doing this for the last 8 years. And it started as a personal journey, and then it became as a purpose and a mission to teach other women as well. So my life, growing up, my father was in a transferable job. So when I was just 2.5, 3 years old, I was left with my grandmother to go to start school and go to school, so that I'm not traveling with my parents to different schools every year. So I grew up with my grandmother, mostly feeling bit abandoned. I didn't know the word abandoned. It was a joint family and they all loved me, but somehow I did not feel the sense of belonging. I always craved to be with my parents, but I was so timid to say that loud to them. And I grew up in a time when the kids are always afraid to express what they feel. So I had it all bottled up in me. And when I was in fifth grade, when I was just about 9 years old, I had a dog bite me when I was going to school. And then I had to go through the whole injection around my belly button. And after that drama, my mom decided that it's high time. She takes me back with her. And by that time, my father was posted in South India. So it was all convenient as well. So I joined my parents when I was in fifth grade, when I was 9 years old. And within 10 months, 9 to 10 months of me being with my parents, my entire family met with a road accident in which my mother died on the spot, and all of us were there. So like my sister lost an eye, I had a major fracture in my femur, I also had a brother. He had a fracture in his arm, and my father he was fighting for his life. He was seriously injured, and he had to undergo multiple surgeries and be in the hospital for a long time before he could come out, and he was a quadriplegic for the rest of his life. So just after the accident, all three of us had to go back to my grandmother's house and live there for another 5 years till I turned 15 years old. So growing up, when something that I was really yearning to, I had it for a short time, and then going back and growing up with my grandmother, I took it all in my stride for some reason, because I have not always lived with them. The pain of being separated really didn't affect me. To tell you the truth, it didn't affect me. I didn't feel like a victim, because I was the kind of person when everybody was coming and telling me, "Oh, poor child, oh, poor so and so, what's going to happen to their life? It's all doomed." And when I heard all these people talking like this around me, I made a decision within me that I will choose to be happy no matter what. I just decided to be happy. So I was this child who was happy and having, nobody in my school would think about what I'm going through or where I'm coming from, because everybody remembers me as this person who's jokes around and who's laughing all the time, because that's a decision I made, and that's how I was till I was 15 years old. And then when you're 14, 15 is when in a girl's life, all your hormones, you change into a young woman. That's when my sensitivities came up, and this decision to be happy turned slowly into a passive anger. I didn't know there was passive anger. The anger was expressed as like, I had a goal. I wanted to succeed in life. I wanted to prove to the world that, I'm not a victim to my circumstance, that I'm going to be successful and get educated and become successful. So that anger, that pressure really gave me the boost in that young age. As Abraham Hicks says, like, feeling helplessness is worse. Anger is better than feeling helplessness, right? So thinking back, this is not a conscious choice. That's how it happened to me. So I, against all odds, I got educated. When there was a decision to stop my education, I got educated. And then I went to work when that was not something that people did either. So I kept going against the grain just to prove myself and to the people around me that, I'm not a victim. I'm going to figure out my life, and I'm going to be successful. And I was always thinking about my father, and I was being the eldest, my brother and sister. I had somehow numbed myself to not feel anything and just be this mission to who will go and, just be a goal, keep going through whatever I've set my goals on, and to show that to myself that I'm all good. And this kept going. We've had a very dysfunctional family. After 15 years old, when I came to live with my dad, he was a depressed person. Obviously, with everything that he went through, we didn't have the same financial status that we had when he was working, and we didn't. There was not a woman figure in the house, and I was this eldest daughter taking the space of a woman without any emotional maturity. So I did my best. So it was a very dysfunctional family, and we were just trying to survive. And after marriage, I was working, and slowly, when I was about 30 years old, my body, I had really been pushing myself and numbed myself, where it outwardly I was successful. This anger really helped me in getting a good education, to becoming financially successful, doing well in my career, and so on. But at some point, there was always a sense of a part of me that was shut down and not allowed to come up. And when I started deciding, trying to build a family, start a family, it did not happen. I went to the doctors. They can't find anything wrong. They said it's unspecific infertility. So they said just de-stress. And I'm like, I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed, because you don't know what you don't know. And maybe other people can see it. But I was like, no, I'm not stressed. And this was going on one side. And not the failure of not conceiving every month was something that was like, no, I'm not happy with that, because until then I really ticked every boxes that I set for myself. So that was having an impact on me emotionally. Slowly, to the point when I was 30 years old, I had this mysterious autoimmune condition, and I went back to India in a wheelchair after I just shared that story some time back. um, it literally turned my life upside down. I thought I had it all under control, but it was just showed to me that, I had it all wrong. I thought I had figured it out and played by the right rules, but that incident showed to me that I had it all reversed. And I questioned everything, like all the books I've read, or all the people I listened to, thinking that's the right thing to do. And I questioned everything, and I realized that I had it all wrong. I had been so shut down emotionally, um, that I was not relaxing. I was not really listening to what my body wants, what I want, how am I feeling. um, None of that. And I didn't know how to, even if I knew that what is missing, I didn't have any more information. So that became the catalyst for me to start learning this. Somehow I had done a graduation in psychology just to understand human behavior, because having lived in a dysfunctional family, I was always figuring out when my dad will be happy, angry, like he gets angry at the drop of a hat, and it was always like tiptoeing. So I was interested in human mind and human behavior. So I had done degree, but as you know, learning a degree doesn't really, you learn, you understand things, but understanding is one thing, implementing is another thing. So I was really keen to make changes in myself. So that is what triggered me into starting to learn yoga. When I had my twins, I went to learn yoga, and I've been consistently learning Reiki and so many things, which kept unraveling. It's like an onion peel after peel after peel, and every time I'm making changes in myself, and I'm seeing things are happening effortlessly with much more ease in my life. What I had to strive and push and work so hard, burning myself, every time I became more and more aware of myself, I was able to create what I wanted in my life. In the sense, I could really think about what I want, and not really be busy running after it. Things started to happen on a whole different level. And I'm still a work in progress. There's still layers of me that keeps coming up. And that is why I realized that growing up, I thought my life was the worst life. Like, why didn't I? Every time all my friends had moms, and I thought their life is so picture perfect and so romantic. But when I started talking to friends and other women, I realized that everyone's carrying trauma in one way or the other. Having a parent doesn't guarantee that you had a good childhood, and this I realized nobody has this knowledge, and why aren't we being taught this in school? And this is the foundational knowledge we need in order to understand ourselves and our limiting beliefs that we have, so that we can have a good life. And teaching women is all the more close to my heart, because when a woman changes, 7 generations before her and 7 generations after her changes or gets liberated, the 7 generations before us, because the genetic imprints are strongly imprinted in us for 7 generations before us. In my case, my mom died when she was 28 years old. My dad died when he was 60 years old. He was a sad, unhappy, depressed man who did not want to live when he died. And that's the memory that I'm carrying. That is the imprints that I'm carrying. And now it is up to me to change. This is the opportunity in my life is to change this around. And my other option is just to be a victim to whatever comes up in my life, because your nervous system only knows what you have experienced. And what I've experienced is, a young woman dying without experiencing anything in her life, and a man living in remorse and dejection and depression and dying at 60. So the more work I would do on myself, I get to make up for all the missed happiness and fun that they could have had. When I have that, it they get liberated. It is like I'm experiencing on behalf of them as well. And when I do this, my children get liberated, because I'm not going to pass on the same pattern to them. And this is with every woman. So if every woman can do this work on herself, the only other option is to just go without go along with life and just let things happen to you. But if you are working on yourself, you have this opportunity. Being the people who give birth, we are the ones who go around fixing people in our life, and it never really works. But if we start working on ourselves, the how people behave to us, how they talk to us, how we respond to them, everything changes on a whole different level. And we set an example for our kids and everybody around us. So every time a woman changes, her entire community changes. And when a woman does inner work, we can together change this entire world. Literally, we can do that just by doing inner work on ourselves. And that is why I do what I do. And I would like to hear from you why you do what you do. It's an opportunity for you to reflect if you've not reflected on that already, and share with me why you do what you do, or what you would like to do. If what you're doing right now is not something what you want to do, what you want to be doing in future is also something I'd love to know. Have a nice day. Bye.